Kratos is the ultimate god killer, a man on a mission to destroy every god in several different pantheons. With that type of power, along the way, he became one of the most powerful characters in all of video games. And today, we're putting that to the test by putting Kratos up against a whole gauntlet of different video game characters. We're going to rank a whole bunch of different video game characters based off their chances of beating Kratos, with either no shot at beating him, they can land a few punches, the fight could go 50-50, or they can actually beat Kratos. So let's get to it. Born in Sparta, Kratos is a demigod son of Zeus and was once a soldier and Spartan general. He worked under Ares' command, serving the god of war, until he accidentally killed his wife and daughter under Ares' order. The ghost of Sparta renounced his service to the god of war, eventually killing him and ascending to true godhood himself, becoming the new god of war. And from there, Kratos continued on his deicide, claiming revenge against his father Zeus and all the Olympian gods who had betrayed him. After following through on his vengeance, Kratos left to Norway in the world of the Norse gods. And of course, war and fighting followed him there too. Now Kratos isn't just a great character, he's also just an absolute beast. He is so freaking powerful. And there is a difference between gameplay Kratos and lore Kratos. Like in the gameplay, we've seen Kratos struggle to lift some rocks. He gets hurt by swords or arrows or random skeleton warriors. Sometimes he can't even open certain chests. Even when he's literally killing gods, it doesn't necessarily feel that earth-shattering, especially when you compare it to some of the stuff going on in the Marvel universe. But that's why you have to understand the lore of Kratos in the God of War universe, because that's how you'll see just what a beast Kratos truly is. Let me explain the God of War cosmology here for a second, as there are basically three different power groups you need to know about: primordials, titans, and gods. In the beginning, before anything was, there were the primordials. These beings waged war on each other before the very concept of time existed. And out of this war came the Earth. And not just the Earth, but the whole universe itself. I mean, they were throwing punches around and literally creating the Big Bang. That's insane. And what's even crazier? Kratos killed some of them. Like Gaia, Mother Earth, the first being to ever exist. Kratos killed her. Thanatos, the primordial personification of death, and responsible for helping to create the universe. Kratos killed him. The very concept of death. And Kratos killed him. Then there are the Titans, the spawns of the primordials, like Kronos, king of the Titans, 16,000 feet tall, 7 million tons. And when this Titan tried to crush Kratos with his fingers, Kratos was able to hold him off and push him back. That's like holding back millions of tons, billions of tons of force. It's an absolutely insane showing. Kronos has had the same universe-shaking fights against primordials, but he wasn't able to fight and kill Kratos. And Kratos did it again. This time he was fighting against Atlas, a titan who's roughly just as strong as Kronos, and is tasked with holding the sky on his shoulders. Atlas tried to squish Kratos just like Kronos did, but Kratos was able to hold it off and push him back, just like he did with Kronos. Wait, hold on, let me make sure you get that. Atlas is the strongest titan in God of War. It required the might of both Hades and Poseidon to stop him. He could hold the entire cosmos on his shoulders and prevent it from falling and collapsing. And in God of War, the sky and the entire cosmos has been confirmed a few times to be literally infinite and limitless. Atlas is performing the same feat as like when Superman held up a book of infinite pages, or when Hercules held the literal sky, simply holding up infinity. Yet he still failed to crush Kratos. And Kratos is also just a fraction of his size too. Then there are the times where Kratos fought against gods, and specifically some pretty powerful Norse gods, like Thor. Thor is so strong and so powerful that his battle with Jormungandr splintered the tree Yggdrasil, and this is what it looks like when a tree is splintered. But Yggdrasil is so much more than just a tree. It's a construct that transcends space and time and supports all of creation with its existence, holding the infinite universes that are housed within Norse mythos. Thor splintered that tree with his fight with Jormungandr, and sent Jormungandr backwards through time with a punch, back before even his own birth. This is the guy that Kratos fought against, and it's the guy that Kratos was able to beat and overpower by the end of the game. And not just that, but defeating gods like Hades, and ripping out Hades' soul, defeating Baldur, a guy who can knock out the world serpent with just 3 punches, and defeat even Zeus and Odin themselves, beating literal universal and Skyfather level beings by himself. He truly is the ultimate god killer. Scorpion can probably land a few punches, and even that seems a little bit generous. But then I gotta remember, he does have some hell powers, so able to definitely punch above his weight class in Mortal Kombat. So maybe that means he can land some punches against Kratos. But that's literally it. Kratos can pretty easily one-shot Scorpion whenever he so chooses. Obviously, Arkham Batman has no shot, even at his highest heights, when he was utilizing Scarecrow's fear toxin and beating whole rogues galleries every night. He's nowhere even close to the God of War. He got beat by the Suicide Squad. Just imagine what Kratos could do. Now, Starkiller is kinda that guy within the Star Wars universe, so I'll say he could land a few hits here. I mean, with his power in the Force, Darth Vader noticed him across the galaxy as just a child, believed he was a Jedi Master. He's been able to defeat Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and destroy Kenobi's Force Ghost, and even beat Darth Sidious. The Force is powerful enough to let Starkiller momentarily hang with Kratos. But killing universal gods is on a whole other level, and Kratos still wins. I'm gonna say that Doomslayer is 50-50 against Kratos, because both are seriously powerful, and honestly just seriously broken within lore, and they're both able to do a lot of the same stuff too, like defeating universal beings, or better yet, beings who created universes. They're both able to fight and battle for all of eternity, both have god-killing weapons. This fight really could go either way. I think Kratos edges it out, but it's really close enough to say 50-50. Nathan Drake is a video game icon, and Uncharted is an amazing franchise, but he's not beating Kratos. Kratos even looks in his direction menacingly enough, and Drake is dead. That easy. Sonic is the first one that I'm gonna say can actually beat Kratos, because even for as high as you can scale Kratos, you can genuinely scale Sonic in the games even higher. Between his encounters with Solaris, the Egg Wizard and the Time Eater, multiversal and genuine immeasurable speed are well within Sonic's wheelhouse, not to mention an absurd amount of hacks and abilities. Kratos is definitely powerful enough to make it interesting, but Sonic ultimately wins. Master Chief has fought against a whole lot of powerful threats before, but put him up against Kratos, and well, he's genuinely just got no shot at winning here. He doesn't have any weapons powerful enough to scratch Kratos, and Kratos can quite literally one-shot. Master Chief has survived falling into a planet's orbit, while Kratos is beating gods on a universal level. There's just no comparison. Dante is the ultimate demon hunter, so him and Kratos would honestly understand each other pretty well and be friends. But in a fight, well, I would say Dante can land a few punches. Might get some flack for this, and maybe I need to study up on Devil May Cry a bit better, but I don't think Dante can solidly reach up to universal levels, and a lot of that is creation powers, not the same as universal level in attacks. Kratos can beat true universal beings, and I think he'd win here. It's the same as Nathan Drake. Feel like you gotta include Arthur Morgan on a video game list, because Red Dead 2 is just that good, but it's a cowboy against a god. Enough said. Geralt has plenty of experience battling against monsters, but him and Kratos are just in two astronomically different tiers. Like the monsters that Kratos is killing, well, they're powerful enough to tear apart hyper-infinite universal constructs and rip apart space-time. So yeah, Geralt has no shot here. I'm gonna say Mario is 50-50, because at their base, well, Kratos is a lot stronger, a lot more powerful, and should honestly beat the plumber most every time. But you make a composite Mario, or give him some of his power-ups, well, Mario makes it a very, very hard fight for Kratos, if not beats Kratos outright. So yeah, I'd say 50-50. I think the best you can say for Raiden is that he can land a few punches. But it's just that, end of the day, Raiden is a thunder god, and Kratos has already killed way more powerful thunder gods. Don't see what Raiden brings here that's new to the table, or how this one plays out any differently. Asura is so powerful that I'm gonna say this one will be 50-50, because when Asura is at his peak, where he's able to casually destroy planets and stars and fight against the Golden Chakravartin, which was universal in scale. So really similar to everything we've seen from Kratos, as most all of his fights are somehow universal in scale too. I'm gonna say Dragonborn is 50-50 too, because not only does he just have a ton of versatility, like a ton of hacks, but also an insane amount of power. The type of power that allowed him to fight and defeat Mirek and Alduin all by himself, with those being universal in power, and Alduin's death reverberating across all time through all eras of the world. With that type of power, well, it's 50-50. And last but not least, Kirby. And Kirby can beat Kratos. The little pink ball is just that powerful. Kirby has been stated several times to have literally infinite power. Like, Kirby just operates on an insane level. One of the final bosses in one of the games was an omnipresent being that existed across infinite dimensions, and Kirby beat him. And worst comes to worst, well, Kirby just swallows Kratos and copies all of Kratos' powers. Kirby stomps.